Nearly a year later, in the month of October, 18, London was startled by a crime of singular ferocity and rendered all the more notable by the high position of the victim. The details were few and startling. A maidservant living alone in a house not far from the river had gone upstairs about 11. Looking out of the window, she beheld a small man walking in the direction of the river, and advancing to meet him, another and very small gentleman. The two men walked together for a little space, when suddenly the maid broke out in a scream. The little man was stumping along eastward at a good walk, and the maid thought he bore himself with a sort of bravado. But when she came to herself and saw what had been done, she was shocked beyond measure. The body of Sir Danvers Carew was lying on the ground, incredibly mangled. Mr. Utterson went to Jekyll's house and was admitted by a footman who led him to the study. Dr. Jekyll had received a letter from Hyde, which he showed to the lawyer. The lawyer examined the writing carefully and found it different from the hand of the letter he had received before. Utterson felt very uneasy, but he said nothing, and the matter was dropped. Time ran on. Thousands of pounds were offered in reward, for the death of Sir Danvers was resented as a public injury. But Mr. Hyde had disappeared out of the ken of the police, as though he had never existed. Much was heard of Mr. Jekyll's credit standing high in the world. He was busy, he was much in the open air, he did good. His face seemed to open and brighten, as if with the consciousness of service. And for more than 2 months, the doctor was at peace. On the 8th of January, Utterson had dined at the doctor's with a small party. Lanyon was there, and the face of the host had looked from one to the other, as in the days when the trio were inseparable friends. On the 12th, and again on the 14th, the door was shut against the lawyer. The doctor was confined to the house, Poole said, and saw no one. On the 15th, Utterson found his way to Dr. Lanyon's, and he was shocked at the change which had taken place in the doctor's appearance. He had his death warrant written legibly upon his face. The rosy man had grown pale, his flesh had fallen away. He was visibly balder and older, and yet it was not so much these tokens of a swift physical decay that arrested the lawyer's notice, as a look in the eye and quality of manner that seemed to testify to some deep-seated terror of the mind. Lanyon declared himself a doomed man. "I have had a shock," he said, "and I shall never recover. It is a question of weeks. Well, life has been pleasant. I liked it. Yes, sir, I used to like it. I sometimes think if we knew all, we should be more glad to get away." Utterson inquired foolishly enough if the doctor suffered from insomnia, but Lanyon declared himself a condemned man and refused to enter upon details. "I wish to see or hear no more of Dr. Jekyll," he said. "I am quite done with that person, and I beg that you will spare me any allusion to one whom I regard as dead." Utterson, on his way home, was tormented by the thought of some undisclosed disaster, some breach of trust or mortal sin that lay upon his friend's conscience. The lawyer's mind misgave him. He feared the worst. But when he returned to his own house, he sat down to write to Dr. Jekyll, and the answer came promptly but briefly. "Dear Utterson," it ran, "you are very good to concern yourself for me. I am quite safe from danger, and I thank you for your solicitude. Lanyon's illness has nothing to do with me. I never approved of his scientific methods. He is ill, and the shock has destroyed him. As for myself, I am once more alone. Pray do not visit me." The lawyer laid the letter down and could not forbear a sigh. It seemed to him that the presence of the two friends had been a blessing to the doctor, and now that they were gone, he was left to his own devices and his own dark thoughts. The letter was cold and formal, yet Utterson felt that it breathed a certain relief. For the present, at least, the danger seemed at an end. But the terror of Dr. Lanyon weighed upon his spirits, and when the lawyer called again, he found the physician visibly weaker. "I cannot tell you," said Lanyon, "what I have seen. But I have had a shock, and I shall never recover. Ask no questions." And with that, he turned his face to the wall. Utterson left him, sad and fearful, and as he went home, he wondered what dreadful mystery had been at work, and what manner of man his friend had become.